Chapter 26, Cardio. The third building block of the Mood Pyramid is cardiovascular exercise. What is cardio? Cardiovascular exercise, or cardio, refers to any movement that is rhythmic in nature, placing increased demands on the heart, lungs, blood vessels, muscles, and organs. Cardio includes activities like walking, jogging, running, biking, hiking, swimming, cross-country skiing, calisthenics, and more. During cardio, breathing becomes more rapid and heart rate and blood pressure begins to rise. Blood vessels dilate and muscles begin to contract. Our organs send messages throughout the entire body that the body is speeding up. Benefits of cardio. The many wonderful benefits of cardio include stress management, mood elevation, mental clarity, pH balance, and improved cellular sensitivity, blood pressure, glucose levels, lipid profile, detoxification, brain health, and weight control. Cardio also increases strength and efficiency of the heart, lungs, and blood vessels. Here's a few questions for you. How much time do you currently spend doing cardio each week? If you do not do any type of cardio, what might be holding you back? What is your favorite type of cardio? Is there a new type of cardio you would like to try? The science of cardio. Cardio results in a number of important physiological changes. Let's begin with a few. Cardiac output. One of the first changes in the body with regular cardio movement is cardiac output. Cardiac output is the heart's ability to pump blood throughout the entire body. Higher output expands cardiovascular capacity. Cardiac output equals heart rate times stroke volume. One of the first and best signs of getting better cardiovascular shape is a low resting heart rate. As fitness levels improve, resting heart rate begins to slow down. This is due to increased cardiovascular system efficiency, specifically an increase in stroke volume. Stroke volume is the strength of the contraction of the heart. With higher fitness levels, each beat of the heart can push out more blood. One of the greatest indicators of overall health and fitness level is a low resting heart rate. Low fitness level, resting heart rate above 72 beats per minute. Moderate fitness level, resting heart rate between 60 to 72 beats per minute, and a high fitness level of a resting heart rate under 55 beats per minute. Heart rate range. Another great indicator of fitness capacity is heart rate range. Heart rate range is the range between resting heart rate and maximal heart rate. Here's a few examples. A low fitness level, resting heart rate of 75 and a maximal heart rate of 115. That would give you 40 heart rate range. Moderate fitness level, 65 beats per minute resting heart rate and a maximal heart rate of 145 beats per minute equals 80 heart rate range. And a high fitness level have a low resting heart rate of 50 beats per minute and a maximal heart rate of 175 beats per minute gives you 125 heart rate range. Aerobic versus anaerobic. Cardio can be either aerobic or anaerobic or somewhere in between depending on the intensity levels of the movement. In aerobic cardio, demands meet supply of oxygen. In anaerobic cardio, demands exceed the supply of oxygen. It is important to understand the difference between aerobic and anaerobic exercise and how the duration and intensity of the exercise program can impact the heart, lungs, hormones, and most importantly, increase results. As aerobic fitness levels improve, the goal should not be to continue to increase the amount of time dedicated to cardio, but rather slowly increase the intensity of the movements or exercise. I believe many people look at cardio as a way to burn calories and lose weight, assuming more is better. This is not necessarily true. If the goal is to lose weight, it's far more effective and more efficient to limit the time of cardio to 25 minutes or less and slowly raise the intensity level of the movements. This may challenge some of your current beliefs. I'm not asking you to do more, I'm actually asking you to do less and make the movements more focused and maybe a little bit more intense. A higher intensity can challenge the nervous system, growth hormone, testosterone, estrogen, and muscles, as well as impact the body in many ways, including weight loss. Heart rate variability, HRV. One of the latest measures of stress reduction, heart health, performance enhancement, and overall well-being is heart rate variability, HRV. Many wearables such as the Oura, Whoop, and many others have now the capability to track HRV. HRV is the measure of the subtle beat-to-beat changes in the pattern of the heart rhythm. HRV is not as common as pulse, blood pressure, or body temperature as health screening tools. It is, however, becoming widely recognized as a powerful indicator to uncover future health problems. Learning how to control HRV is one of the great practices to reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and improve the quality of our health, our heart, and our lives. Heart rate variability is literally the variance in time between heartbeats. If a heart beats at 60 beats per minute, is not actually beating once every second. Within that minute, there may be 0.09 seconds between two beats and 1.15 seconds between two others. A normal heart rate variability for most adults can range anywhere between 20 to over 200 milliseconds. A normal heart rate variability measurement can be established over a few weeks by using a wearable device. Heart rate variability is linked to the autonomic nervous system and the balance between the sympathetic, fight or flight, and the parasympathetic, rest and digest branches. This was discussed earlier in Section 3. By balancing these two branches, the autonomic nervous system helps us respond to daily stressors, balance hormones, and regulate heart rate, breathing, and digestion. Heart rate variability is one of the most effective methods to monitoring and balancing within the autonomic nervous system. Low heart rate variability. When we feel stressed, anxious, frustrated, or threatened in any way, the sympathetic nervous system goes into quick action. Heart rate and blood pressure rise, and pupils begin to dilate. Muscles contract, and digestion shuts down. It is our sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response, that tells the heart to speed up, limiting space for variability and leading to low heart rate variability. Think of low heart rate variability as a piece of music where the notes get jammed together, creating little space between the notes. The music would not sound the same. In low heart rate variability, there is little space between the beats of the heart, and in most cases can be a great indicator that the body is out of balance. Low heart rate variability over time may be linked to heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, and a variety of other health problems in the future. High heart rate variability. On the other end of the spectrum is high heart rate variability. This is when there is adequate space between the beats of the heart. Generally speaking, high heart rate variability is associated with a parasympathetic nervous system rest and digest, leading to more peacefulness, relaxation, and a higher cardiovascular fitness level. There are many health benefits for the heart, mind, and body with high heart rate variability. Imagine heart rhythms as the waves of a sea. On a beautiful, calm day, the waves are long, flowing, smooth, consistent, repetitive, and peaceful looking. But during a storm, the waves become large, stressed, spiked, irregular, and erratic. They are anything but peaceful looking. The ocean is upset. This is the difference between high heart rate variability and low heart rate variability. High and low heart rate variability is a highly sensitive measurement that responds uniquely for each person. The key, like most metrics, is to develop baselines that allow heart rate variability to be monitored on a regular basis. We have the ability to go from low heart rate variability to a higher heart rate variability by improving how we rest, eat, and move. Improving some simple lifestyle habits can directly influence our heart rate variability. How we breathe, how we sleep, making enough space for recovery, balancing pH, hydrating, consuming healthy foods, and moving our body on a daily basis. Oxygen uptake, VO2 max. Because muscles use oxygen to function. Measuring how much oxygen the body uses in a given time period provides a way to measure how efficiently the body is working. Remember the scene in Rocky IV when Ivan Drago, the Russian boxing champion and fitness specimen, was sprinting full speed up a severely inclined treadmill, breathing into a mask, wires attached everywhere, lights flashing on the computer? What were the Russian team of doctors and coaches testing? They were testing Ivan Drago's heart rate, blood pressure, blood gases, and lactic levels. Most importantly, they were testing Drago's VO2 max. The Russians were using state-of-the-art science to measure his fitness level instead of Rocky's old-school method of running up a hill in thigh-deep snow with a huge log on his back. Maximal oxygen uptake, or VO2 max, is widely considered the gold standard as a measure of aerobic fitness. The V represents the volume of gas, oxygen O2, taken up in the entire body. The max represents maximum amount of work that can be done during high-intensity exercise. It is commonly used to test aerobic endurance and cardiovascular fitness in athletes before and at the end of a training cycle. Maximal oxygen uptake levels. Level of aerobic fitness. High aerobic fitness, a VO2 max of 49 to 56. Good fitness level, max VO2 of 39 to 48. Average fitness level, max VO2 of 25 to 38. Low fitness level, max VO2 of 14 to 25. And a poor fitness level of a max VO2 of 3.5 to 14. Although VO2 max is a great marker of cardiovascular fitness, it has some downfalls. The only accurate way to measure VO2 max requires expensive clinical equipment, which is why VO2 max is usually a fitness marker reserved for elite and professional athletes. I think Rocky's method of running up a hill in 3 feet of snow with a large log on his back was just as effective. Crushing that VO2 max test. When I was in graduate school, all the exercise physiology students in our class had the opportunity to do a VO2 max test. It was a brutal test, and nobody enjoyed taking their turn. Looking back, I remember my lifelong friend and classmate Dan Bender taking his turn on the treadmill. Dan and I have known each other for over 50 years. We played Pop Warner football together, worked out together, and happened to enroll in graduate school at the same time. Dan was a beast. He looked like a bodybuilder, but he was also a runner and a very fit guy. Many of our classmates did not fully understand the fitness crossover from strength training to cardiovascular fitness. In fact, many teased Dan and I, saying that they could not wait to see us take our turns on the treadmill. They had no idea the type of training Dan and I did and believed that strength training had little value when it came to cardiovascular fitness. I still remember to this day the look on their faces watching Dan crush his VO2 max tests. Quads pumping, sweat flying, and the treadmill whining. Dan was a sight to see. Ivan Drago had nothing on Dan. Our professor, Dr. William Huesner, later reported that Dan had one of the highest VO2 max levels that he'd ever tested. The training effect. Take a moment to consider what happens inside the body when we walk, run, swim, ride a bike, stretch, or do a few sets of push-ups or squats. What goes on inside the mind and the body when we play a game of tennis? How is it that the body gets better at a specific targeted movements? Exercise physiology is a study of the body's response to physical activities as well as how the body adapts to physical activities over time. When we begin to move our body, acute responses take place. Heart rate and blood pressure increase, blood vessels dilate, digestion shuts down, and an array of other physiological changes quickly take place throughout the entire body. Over time, the body moves into chronic adaptations to these specific movements, creating specific changes in muscular, cardiovascular, and neurohormonal systems. What we do, the modality, how hard we do it, intensity, and how long we do it, duration, all are big players in what we call the training effect. When training for a 5K, Our workouts are going to be specific to running. If our goal is to swim 100 meters, we need to spend a good deal of our training time in the pool. Both of these activities tax the cardiovascular system differently. Both are goal specific, and the training effect is specific to the activity. This is why a person who is in great cardiovascular shape from running can get gas from doing a few laps in the pool. Running may create a solid cardiovascular baseline, but swimming is a completely different beast with a different training effect. For many years, when doing one-on-one training, I asked my clients how they rated their cardiovascular fitness level on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the highest. Many rated their cardiovascular fitness at a 7 or higher. Many reported logging steps, minutes, or miles each week by walking, jogging, hiking, biking, or swimming. To get a better indication of their cardiovascular capacity, I asked them to climb up and down one flight of stairs 3 times, rest for 15 seconds, and then repeat this exercise 2 more times. This entire stair climbing exercise took less than 5 minutes for most to complete. I think most were shocked that such a simple exercise made them so out of breath. This stair climbing exercise helped my clients understand the training specificity and the differences between aerobic and anaerobic training. Their current exercises might be great for maintaining overall fitness, but if their goal was to improve their cardiovascular capacity, then they needed to add in some type of anaerobic work. My advice was to devote some of their precious workout time to occasionally bursts of higher intensity movements. If they enjoyed walking, then change it up. Walk for 30 seconds and then jog for 30 seconds. If they enjoyed biking, sprint on the bike for 30 seconds, slow down and recover for 30 to 60 seconds. Then repeat 3 to 10 times. If they enjoyed swimming, instead of just logging laps in the pool, increase the intensity now and then by swimming faster for a lap or 2. Rest for 30 seconds and repeat. This type of interval training would raise their anaerobic threshold, improve their cardiovascular capacity, and provide their workouts with more intention and purpose. It may sound simple to lose weight using cardio by increasing the intensity and going like mad, but there are a few other things that must be understood about high-intensity cardio. Redlining. Performing high-intensity cardio day in and day out is tough and may become extremely challenging to the mind and body. It may turn many people off to exercise altogether. When an exercise or movement routine is teetering on the edge of too much, I call this redlining. It may lead to stress and a drop in performance. Participating in cardio that is really hard every now and then is great, but when the intensity is turned up too much, it can crush the mind and the body. No longer do we reap the wonderful benefits of cardio. Our cardio routine may have crossed the line. How can we tell if we are redlining? Sleep may become broken, energy drops, and resting heart rate goes up. Digestion may come to a halt or quickly speeds up. We may become more irritable and be in a foul mood. The feeling of being burned out, both mentally and physically, may start to creep in. Leading up to a few of my bodybuilding contests early in my career, I knew I was redlining when I began to witness changes in my sleep, energy, resting heart rate, and most importantly, when my passion and juice for going to the gym started to disappear. I knew I was overtraining and needed to back it down and bring in some needed rest. Battle of the Titans. Years ago, several of our health club members put together a 2-day contest called Battle of the Titans. It was a contest similar to a decathlon, except there were 13 events spread over just 2 days. The events were selected by a committee and included events of skill, strength, power, stamina, and most importantly, grit. We were all members of the Michigan Athletic Club, and most of us were friends. The group ranged from the typical weekend warrior to former college and professional athletes. This was a tough crowd in many ways. And as I learned during the competition, it was a great group of guys. Looking back, I believe there were 3 events that stuck out in everybody's mind and pushed us all leading into redlining. First, the squat. We loaded up a bar with our own body weight and tried to squat as many reps as we could within a 2-minute time limit. Just watching our fellow competitors go through this gauntlet of pain was extremely stressful. Not only were we completely gassed during and after the event, we could barely walk for days later. Number 2 was the plate push. I think this was the hardest 90 seconds of my entire life. We took a 45-pound plate, placed it on a towel, placed our hands on the plate, and pushed the plate around a large gym as fast and as far as we could in 90 seconds. This event was based on anaerobic power. Pushing as hard as possible and in a bent over position made breathing extremely difficult. I remember members lining up around the gym to watch. The excitement was electric, but when it was your turn, no contestant was smiling. And lastly, number 3 was the step mill. We got on a revolving stair machine and climbed as many flights of stairs as possible in 10 minutes. If our hands grabbed the railings, we were deducted an entire flight of stairs. Competitors tried to pace themselves, but in most cases, they started too quickly, crossed into anaerobic pain, and then quickly started falling apart. Again, this was a tough event to watch, especially if you were up next. To this day, I think many of our redlining events left a mark. It was an exciting time. We developed great relationships and friendships, and along the way, we learned a great deal about ourselves. Create a cardio plan that works for you. Creating an effective and efficient cardio plan includes several components: the modality, frequency, duration, and intensity. Here are the specifics to consider for each of those components. Modality. When adopting a cardio plan, it's critical to start with cardio activities that you enjoy. Whether it's walking, jogging, running, biking, swimming, mini trampoline, calisthenics, or a group fitness class, we must keep searching until we find cardio movements we enjoy. I do not particularly like to swim in the wintertime, but I love to swim in the summertime. My favorite cardio activities include the mini trampoline, calisthenics, walking, jogging, running with my dog Floyd in the woods, and occasionally using a variety of cardio machines. I also like to play to improve my cardio. I enjoy paddleball, pickleball, ping pong, snowshoeing, snow skiing, hiking, and biking. Try new activities and keep searching for cardio movements you enjoy. Second is frequency. People often wonder how often they should do cardio. We should develop a cardio plan that fits our time and our schedule. Try to do cardio almost every day. Some days are more intense than others. Consistency is very important. It is the consistency that adds up over time and helps create a habit. Just a few minutes on the mini trampoline or going for a 10-minute walk has great benefits. Remember, the benefits of moving the body is not just for the heart and lungs, but more importantly, what it does for the mind. Duration. I believe duration is where most people get cardio wrong, believing more time equals more results or more benefits. Similar to nutrition, quality trumps quantity when it comes to exercise. When training for a marathon or triathlon, we have to put in the time. However, if our goal is to get in better cardiovascular shape, 10 to 25 minutes of moderate to high intensity cardio on a regular basis is all we need. Intensity. Intensity is the level of difficulty to sustain the exercise or movement. A leisurely walk or bike ride is great, but to see adaptations to the cardiovascular system, we must get a little uncomfortable. If the exercise is too hard or can only last a few minutes before we have to stop, the intensity may be too great. That's the redlining. If the intensity is too low, the body will only make minimal adaptations, and we will get fewer benefits from the cardiovascular exercise. Here are a few ways to monitor intensity levels. First, visual. Body language and posture alignment are great indicators that the intensity is too high. When the intensity is too demanding, the body begins to make compensations, leading to poor posture. If the intensity is too low, it becomes a leisure activity. Breath, the talk test. I used to talk to my clients when they did their cardio. If they could easily carry on a conversation, I knew their intensity level was too low to create a training effect. If they could not talk, then the intensity most likely was too high. Perceived exertion. Perceived exertion can be measured on a 1 to 10 scale, with 1 to 2 being easy, 4 to 6 moderate, and 8 to 10 extremely difficult. Perceived exertion may vary from person to person, but can be an easy way to assess the difficulty of cardio movements. Monitor exertion on a 1 to 10 scale. Are you working out at a 3, 5, or an 8? Or do you vary the intensity by doing a few intervals? Heart rate. Traditionally, heart rate is the gold standard for monitoring exercise intensity. Heart rate is a great indicator of current fitness levels, perceived stress, and a great way to measure the intensity of a particular exercise. As fitness levels improve, so does heart rate range. With a resting heart rate of 60 and a maximum heart rate of 160, the heart rate range is 100. As fitness levels increase, the heart rate range increases, leading to a greater cardiovascular capacity. Using heart rate range to gauge intensity levels is the gold standard for most competitive athletes. For most, however, starting with how we look, feel, and whether we can talk during exercise is enough. How do you currently monitor your cardio intensity level? When starting a movement or exercise program, start slowly and over time, begin to challenge yourself. Start with a heart rate around 95 to 110 beats per minute. For a moderate exerciser, start with 110 to 140 beats per minute. And for an advanced exerciser, when doing intervals, 125 to 175 beats per minute. Remember, these are just guidelines. Monitor your heart rate further with a talk test and by assessing your perceived exertion to see how your heart rate measures up. One last point. It is always a good idea to consult with your healthcare professional prior to beginning any exercise program. Start slowly and let your body slowly acclimate to your movement plan. Remember, you cannot out-exercise a poor diet. Cardio essentials. Big picture. Cardio has many wonderful health benefits for the mind and the body. Oxygen uptake is low in people who do not exercise and high in those who do regular aerobic exercise. Lower resting heart rates indicate higher fitness levels. Increasing cardiovascular capacity requires both aerobic and anaerobic exercise. Aerobic demand meets the supply of oxygen. Anaerobic demand exceeds the supply of oxygen. A cardio plan to meet your goals includes what you do, modality, how hard you do it, intensity, how often you do it, frequency, and how long you do it, duration. Ask yourself, how much time are you spending on cardio each week? Do you redline too often? Is your current cardio plan in line with your goals? How can you improve your cardio experience? Small steps. Walk, jog, skip rope, swim, climb, get your heart rate pumping, and get out of breath on a regular basis. Find cardio activities you enjoy. And lastly, sprinkle some high-intensity intervals in your cardio plan.